everybody, it's Jenny from Med Ed again, your CNA instructor. So the next procedure I'm going to go over with you is sit on edge of bed. So just sitting him up on the edge of the bed. So before any procedure, do those initial steps. Check with the nurse, ask about your resident's needs, abilities, and limitations as necessary. Knock on the door, request permission to enter. Introduce yourself by name and title, call them by the name they prefer, explain what you're going to do. Find and gather your supplies, provide for privacy, close the curtain, drapes, and doors. Wash your hands, wear gloves when dealing with body fluids, and use good body mechanics. So to sit somebody on the edge of the bed, a lot of our procedures, we want the bed up to our waist for our comfort. For this procedure, the bed has to be in the lowest position. This way their feet will hit the floor when you sit them up. So the bed's low, I'm going to raise the head of the bed. By raising the head of the bed, we're not working against gravity. Take down the sheets. And just have your resident scoot towards you. Ask them to bend up their knees, and you're going to go under the shoulder blades and thighs, and on the count of 3, we're going to sit up on the edge of the bed. Want to bend your knees and keep your back straight. Count of 3, we're sitting up. 1, 2, 3. Around and up. Once you've got them up, you have got to ask them, are you dizzy?
Nope.
You feel okay?
Fine.
Okay. Make sure their shoes are on and their feet are flat on the floor. Do your final steps. A, check for alignment, comfortable.
Yes.
B, bed in the lowest position. C, make sure they have their call light and water. D, you need anything before I go?
No, thank you.
E, everybody deserves a thank you, so thank you. F and G, find and gather your supplies, clean them to company or facility policy. H, how do you want them curtains, open or closed?
The way they are is fine, thank you.
I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to do a visual safety check, report unusual findings to my nurse, and document. Thank you. Slide them on for me.
Yeah. You want to go?
Dude, I don't need to follow. Although I guess we could redo. We need to. Hi everybody, Jenny from Med Ed again. So the next, procedure I'm going to go over with you is ambulation with the gait belt. So this is just walking a resident with the gait belt. So do your initial steps. Ask your nurse about your resident's needs, abilities, and limitations. Knock on the door, request permission before entering. Introduce yourself by name and title. Call them by the name they prefer, and explain your procedure. Find and gather your supplies. Wash your hands, provide for privacy, wear gloves when dealing with body fluids, and use good body mechanics. So we're going to go for a little walk with the gait belt. So when you put the gait belt on, you want it around the abdomen and over the clothes. Going up and over. And you just want it palm tight, just enough that you can get your hands underneath the belt. When you're ambulating with a resident, you need to hold a gait belt at the side and the back. So you're holding the belt at the side and back with ambulation. So I'm going to grab the gait belt on the side and on the back, and we always move on the count of 3. On the count of 3, I'd like you to stand up. 1, 2, and 3. Ask if they're dizzy and they're okay.
Fine.
And you just walk at the resident's pace. So just go ahead and take a few steps for me. You walk to the side and slightly behind the resident. Help them back to the bed or chair. Remove the gait belt, this is not a fashion statement. And then do those final steps. A, check alignment, comfortable.
Fine.
B, make sure the bed's in the lowest position. C, make sure they have their call light and water. D, do you think before I go?
No, thank you.
E, everybody deserves a thank you, so thank you. F and G, find and gather your supplies, clean them to company or facility policy. H, how do you want your hanging curtains, open or closed?
The way they are is fine, thank you.
And then I'm gonna wash my hands, I'm gonna do a visual safety check, report unusual findings to my nurse, and then document my procedure. Thanks for watching. Hi everybody, it's Jenny from MedEd again, your CNA instructor. So the next procedure I'm gonna go over with you is transferring to a chair. So the first thing you wanna determine before you get your resident up is to see if they have an affected or a weak side. When you transfer a resident to the chair, you always transfer toward the strong side. So the chair goes on the strong side of the resident. So I started by getting a report from my nurse. I asked about my resident's needs, abilities, and limitations. I was told by my nurse that my resident has a sprained right ankle. I've knocked on the door, I've gotten permission to enter, I've identified myself by name and title, explained what I'm gonna do, and called my resident by the name that they prefer. Find and gather my supplies, I've got my gait belt and my chair. I'm gonna close the curtain drapes and doors, wash my hands, wear gloves as needed, and I'm gonna use good body mechanics. So my resident's already up on the edge of the bed, feet are flat, shoes are on. The right side's affected, I need to put the chair on the strong side. Make sure that the chair is touching the bed frame, steel to steel. When you're using the gait belt, it goes around their abdomen and over their clothes. So how was your lunch today, Mr. Smith?
Fine.
Good. You ready to get up in this chair?
Of course.
Lovely. And again, you want it just tight to your palm. Now, two important things when you're transferring a resident. Use good body mechanics and stabilize your resident. We do that by standing toe to toe and grabbing the gait belt on the side. All right. So you put your toes right up against their toes, have them grab your upper arms, and you grab the sides of the gait belt. On the count of 3, we stand up, check for dizziness, turn, and sit. Ready?
Yes.
Go ahead and grab my upper arms. On the count of 3, I'd like you to stand up. 1, 2, 3. Are you dizzy?
Nope.
Feeling okay?
Fine.
Let's turn. And have a seat. Take off the gait belt and do those final steps. A, alignment and comfort. B, make sure the bed's in the lowest position. C, make sure they have their call light and water. D, ask them if they need anything. And E, everybody deserves a thank you. F and G, find and gather your supplies, clean them to company or facility policy. H, ask them how they want their curtains, open or closed. And then I, your way out. I'm gonna wash my hands, do a visual safety check, report unusual findings to my nurse, and document. Thanks for watching. Just leave it on.